Okay, dokie, let's go right now. Welcome to another Let's Play of Phoenix Wright. Okay, let's gonna stop singing now. I was in the hallway, hiding in the shadows. That's when I heard the confession. Upon learning of her father's crime, little Jinxie, without ever noticing me, immediately after that, the mayor came too, stood up and opened the forbidden chamber. As I ran in terror, the demon emerged from his prison. In shock, I fled down the hallway to my right, to the one with the phone at the end. I must say, this is a shocking revelation. Quite unexpected. To think the defendant actually confessed then and there to his crime. Perhaps the guilt was too much to bear, so he confided it to his daughter. You do realize this could not have been... You do realize you should not have withheld such crucial testimony from the court. Once again, sorry. It's just, I fear being accused if I mention coming upon the most unpleasant scene. Ugh, why did the mayor confession have to be brought up by this guy? We better do something before the judge declares the mayor guilty. As a death row inmate once told me in years gone by, there is a time to fight and a time to yield, a time to live and a time to die. He's laying it on real thick now. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. Oh, why, yes, we will. We get to press... Well, actually, no, we're gonna present something. We're gonna present Jinxie's statement when she said he fled down the hallway to the phone, because if that were the case, he would have ran into Jinxie. Oops, no, we already know. Let's present.
Objection!
Florent LaBelle, you're lying about having witnessed these events from the hallway. What on earth do you mean? Yes, care to for the rest of us in, Mr. Justice. Mr. LaBelle if Mr. LaBelle had really fled down into the hall with the phone in it, he would have crossed paths with Miss Tenma. What's this? After she discovered the crime scene, she immediately went to call the police. Then, after making her haul, she went back to the main hallway, whereupon she encountered the demon yokai, or wherever you want to call it. As for me, I call it Phineas Filch in a Tenma Taro costume. The encounter happened right here, where the hallways meet. As for Mr. LaBelle, if he had fled here, feigning escape from the yokai imposter. Why yes, the two would have crossed paths. Right, except Miss Tenma told us that there was no one else in the hall. In short, Miss Tenma did not see you in the hall because you were never really there. Ah! My eyes! My beautiful eyes! Ha! Not such a fabulous set now, is it? But Mr. Justice, the witness also stated that he heard the mayor confess. If he was lying about hearing the confession from the hall, then where was he when he heard it? Inside the Fox chamber. Where else? But isn't that within the very crime scene? It is, Your Honor, and that means he's not really a witness. Or rather, he's the third party I've been alleging to this whole time. What? You think I'm the killer? How dare you?
Silence.
Silence. Foolish fop. A true man knows where he is beaten. A shield of lies comes to naught before a foe with the sword of truth bared. Prosecutor Blackwell, what are you? I thought we were on the same side. You are mistaken. There are no sides here, save for my cold, steely edge of this judgment. You are alone upon this battlefield, with naught but your lies and sickly sweet perfume. Whoa, what just happened? Black Crow's really tearing into him. You heard the mayor's confession from the inside, did you not, you deviant dandy? For the sole location from which you could have seen and heard the mayor and the Tanuki, without either of them noticing you, was right there in the fox chamber. Oh my. So that's how it's going to be. Fine, I'll come clean then. Seriously? You admit to being there in the fox chamber? I do. I did enter the room after the murder, but I was afraid of being falsely accused, so I lied about it. I feel terrible about lying like that, but it's a verbal cologne I use to protect myself. You better explain yourself, Mr. LaBelle. Yes, of course. I was just about to get to that. The witness is skating on thin ice. I'll remind you that perjury is a very serious crime. Now, let's hear your testimony again, this time without your perfume of lies. Boop. Yeah, right. In the fox chamber. I did enter the fox chamber after the murder, but I didn't enter until after Jinxie had heard her confession and left. I heard the mayor groan and hid behind the folding screen there. What I saw there up close, it was absolutely horrifying. So you see, I was there, but merely watching from behind the scenes. Or screen, behind the scenes, close enough. From behind the screen? Why yes, I believe you wouldn't be spotted if you were there. Just so, he could see everything without being spotted by the victim, or that Tanuki filch. Suffice to say, he was merely witness to the events, rather than an actual third party. This guy's as slippery as an eel. Apollo, you think he's telling the truth? No. Well, he was in the fox chamber, so at least that much must be true. The defense may cross-examine our slightly voyeuristic witness. We are pressing on a statement. When he saw something horrifying. Let's press that. Hold it. Could you describe the crime scene in a bit more detail? And what exactly would you like details about? Well, what I like to ask about is... the murder weapon? Could you describe the state of the weapons that had been used at the scene? The spear had been thrust all the way through Alderman Kyubey. Then there was that statue the Alderman used to bludgeon Mayor Tenma. That incredibly inspiring symbol had fallen to the floor. Oh right, the statue. But why would he find it inspiring? Why exactly did you find the statue inspiring? Well, when I saw that statue, I felt as if the merger had been realized. It was like a celebration of union between town and village, an inspiring symbol of the goodwill. A broken statue next to a bloody corpse. Real inspiring. Well, Mr. Justice, do you consider this statement to be of any importance? Is it important? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's a contradiction. I believe that to be extremely important. Importantly? Capcom, please. I request that it be added to the testimony. The statue had fallen to the floor. It was a token of goodwill, celebrating the municipal merger. Really? Because I believe the statue was broken. Objection! Your lies have finally betrayed you, Mr. LaBelle. What possibly could you mean? You said this statue was like a celebration of union between town and village. Isn't that correct? It is indeed, but what of it? The two yokai are joining hands in goodwill, as if they were celebrating the municipal merger. something the matter? So, how did you really know that this statue was meant to be a symbol of goodwill again? What? Justice Dono, explain yourself, and make it quick. The statue was meant to be a symbolized goodwill in its original form, but that was a secret. A secret? Whatever do you mean? What I mean is that it broke when someone used it to strike Mayor Tenma on the head. What's left clearly makes it look like the two yokai are battling it out. Eep! Oh. The statue's secret and its true form were lost inside that locked room. Therefore, Miss Tenma is the only living soul who should know what it once looked like. So, Mr. LaBelle, where could you have possibly seen the statue in its original form? What do you mean, where? The only possible answer is this. You saw the statue in its original form. Right there in the room where the alderman was murdered before it was broken. How dare you! Mr. Justice, are you accusing the witness with some sort of crime? Yes. Yes, I am. Florent LaBelle, I accuse you of the murder of Alderman Cuby. Well, I said Rex Cuby. Ah! Order, order! Mr. LaBelle, you've been accused of murder. Do you have anything to say in your defense? How could you possibly accuse me, the embodiment of beauty?
Way to go, Apollo! This is the conclusive evidence we need. Magnifico!
We've got you now. We know you killed the alderman. Now admit it!
Silence.
Enough of your silly games, Justice Dono. This prancing peacock could not possibly be the killer.
Objection!
What are you talking about? His alibi has already crumbled to dust. And I just proved that he was in the fox chamber while it was still locked tight.
Silence.
Why could he have not seen in the statue in its true form before the murder? After all, he was close friends with the alderman. Ergo. Yes, that's right! I clearly remember it now. Alderman Cuby told me about it. But what the statue actually looked like. I mean, he was a good friend of mine.
Objection! Yeah, right. He wouldn't show you a secret gift just like that.
Excuse me, what else was that voice? Moreover, it has already been proven that he was not present at the scene of the crime.
It has?
Forgotten, have we? Recall the little scamp's statement, if you will. When Jinxie Tenma unlocked the fox chamber. She said she saw the alderman and the mayor collapse therein, and no one else. Oh, dang it. Dang it. The fact is, it was you two who made that apparent in yesterday's court session. Thus, Florent LaBelle could not possibly have been in that locked room.
No!
Ah! I just don't get it. How could Jinxie not have seen LaBelle? The proof is incontrovertible. No room for debate exists. Am I not right, your baldness? It does seem awfully conclusive. The facts point to the defendant and victim being the only people in that locked room. Moreover, the defendant has already confessed.
Objection! Silence.
You cannot defend the indefensible. Your role in this charade is over, Justice Dono. But... Your boldness. This trial would last an eternity if we are to keep crossing blades with these simpletons. It is high time you brought down the hammer of justice. A point well made. I believe it's time to declare a verdict. This court finds the defendant, Damien Tenma. Hold it! I don't know who said that, but I'm gonna assume it was Damien. Ah, good.
It would seem that my time is at hand.
Mayor Tenma?
Counselor, there is a matter to which I must testify. I recall it now, only for your good grace.
Counselor? Oh, right. That he must mean me. Has he finally remembered what happened before that blow into his head? Bailiff, don't just stand there, seize him. It's no good! I can't restrain him!
Ha! Know me and despair! For I am Tenma Taro, demon lord of the yokai!
Mr. Justice, do something! Since when am I responsible for court security?
Apollo, this is our chance. We might get some new information out of him.
Your Honor, seeing as our client has something new to say, I believe due process demands that we hear him out, even if he is a yokai. Excuse me. When you put it that way... Still, I believe testimony by a yokai is unprecedented in the legal world. Unprecedented is an absurdity, more like. Alright then, Mr. Damien Tenma, or should I say Mr. Tenma Taro. Your testimony, please.
I shall speak of recollections most real, courtesy of my host Damien Tenma. Heed these words, mortal, for hear them but once you shall. Ha ha! Barely conscious was Damien here amid the darkness. Suddenly, two yokai did appear. One side, I, Tenma Taro, ruler of demon kind, and on the other, my mortal enemy, the nine-tailed fox.
So is the defendant asserting that the room he was in was very dark at the time?
Strange as it may be, yes, indeed, all was in darkness.
And the part about Tenma Taro and the nine-tailed fox being there?
Yes, that too! Tenma Taro towered overhead, and the nine-tailed fox glittered gold.
What? Ah! I call animal abuse, Your Honor! It would seem the defendant's recollections are not to be trusted.
Yes, well, truth be told, my host's recollections are still a bit fuzzy. As if half-dreamt, that happening lingers in my mind. Apollo, maybe I can help here.
Really? Oh, you mean...
Yeah, I can hear it. The discord in his heart. I sense an unusual emotion in the mayor's memory of the event.
Okay, I just hope our finding don't come back to haunt us again. We got this!
Barely conscious was Damien there amid the darkness. Suddenly, two yokai did appear. On one side, I, Tenma Taro, ruler of demon kind. And on the other, my mortal enemy, the nine-tailed fox.
Why are you happy there, then?
Got it.
When the nine-tailed fox appeared, you not only experienced shock and sadness, but also something like joy as well.
Joy? Perhaps it was joy at the light coming to my eyes at long last. A long and terrible creaking did pierce the silence. And then there was light. On reflection, it was a door that did produce that infernal racket.
A creaking door? Oh, you must be talking about the forbidden chamber door. It does make a lot of noise.
So this means the forbidden chamber really was opened. But what about the sudden light he described?
I think I know. He mentioned darkness and Tenma Taro towering overhead. Maybe the mayor wasn't really in the fox chamber at the time of the crime. Mr. Mayor, did the darkness that you were in happen to be here?
Take that.
The forbidden chamber? Was it not the Fox Chamber where the murder did occur?
Yes, but it all makes sense if you were in the Forbidden Chamber. That terrible creaking sound was probably the Forbidden Chamber's door opening. And the towering Tenma Taro you saw? Most likely the Forbidden Chamber statue.
Why, yes! That would explain it! The darkness and the staff and the demon's grasp!
But even if all that's true, then what about the nine-tailed fox?
Maybe he was seeing things. Just like Jinxie and her imaginary yokai.
Fantastical, Apollo! It's entirely possible. In a groggy, dreamlike state, people can misremember things and events.
Misremember, you say? Let me think. Ah! I do believe I remember now! That was not the nine-tailed fox! It was...
The Amazing Ninetales! What? The Amazing Ninetales? At first, this is but a dream, I thought. However, most clearly I do recall it. 'Twas the Amazing Ninetales who did open the Forbidden Chamber's door. I'm sorry I asked.
The Amazing Ninetales? But that was the victim Alderman Kyubey, right?
Yeah, why would he open the Forbidden Chamber? Was he trying to keep it sealed?
Never mind that, this is completely new information. Let me enter and run an update.
Barely conscious was Damien there in the Forbidden Chamber.
Amid the darkness, a mighty statue of Tenma Taro loomed overhead. Suddenly, the door did open, and a shaft of light did pierce the gloom. The Amazing Ninetales had come to the rescue. Then why are you sad?
Got it!
When the Amazing Ninetales opened the chamber banishing the darkness within, you felt joy, but didn't you also feel shocked and sadness?
Yes, in the hazy depths of my mind I do recollect something of that nature. I believed it was the fiend's cape of red. For when I did behold it, a great wave of sadness did inexplicably wash over me.
A cape of red?
Apollo! We've reduced the noise level! Oh, but there's still a little bit left.
Mayor Tenma, why were you sad when you saw the red cape? Why indeed? What could this mean?
I guess his memory is still a little spotty. I know because his latest recollection contradicts the evidence.
Yeah, it's one of those contradictions that slaps you right across the face.
Something this obvious could arise when someone is trying to force a fuzzy memory into a definitive shape. Apollo, I know what you have to do. You need to present evidence that contradicts the image you see.
Oh, so it's basically the same as the usual cross-examination process. Okay, time to review the evidence. Look out, contradictions. Here comes justice. The Amazing Ninetales had come to the rescue. Well, no. That red cape. Let's present this flyer.
Protection!
You said the Amazing Ninetales cape was red. Are you sure about that? Yes, well, I do believe it was a red cape I saw, but... Mayor Tenma! Does this cape look red to you? Oh, that certainly does not look red. Not even scarlet or crimson either. Nevertheless, upon my liberation, something red did fill my yet hazy field of view. And I thought to myself, the Amazing Ninetales is arrayed in a cape of red. So you mistook the red something for his cape, huh? Apparently so. And remembering it now, it brings a great sadness upon me.
So the red something probably wasn't a cape after all. Maybe that great sadness he mentioned is what's interfering with his memory.
Well, he would have seen the fox chamber behind the amazing Ninetales. What red object could he have seen there that would have been that shocking? I know! Could it have been... Mr. Mayor, was the red thing you saw this?
Take that!
Something red that could produce a deep sadness. Could it be, Mr. Tenma, that what you saw was the alderman's blood? Blood? Why, yes, it was blood. Ooh. Ooh. Let's make exercises with making mouth shapes. It's all coming back to me now. It wasn't a red cape that I saw. It was lying behind the amazing Ninetales, the alderman's bloody body.
Eek! Bye-bye! His noise level is down to 0! I think he's remembered everything now!
Does this mean the amazing Ninetales killed Alderman Cuby?
But the Alderman was the amazing Ninetales, so how exactly would that work?
Hey, I asked you first. Well, Mr. Justice, you sure know how to make a complicated matter even more complicated. True, but at the time of the crime, our client was in the Forbidden Chamber. Moreover...
Silence.
Hoy, don't you think this strange? The little scamp has already confirmed her father to be in the Fox Chamber, but she said naught about seeing the amazing Ninetales there. You just had to bring that up, didn't you?
Jinxie didn't see LaBelle there either. It's so weird. Who really was in that room then?
Would the defense care to share any theories with the court? Can you explain the inconsistency between the defendant's testimony and his daughter? Yes, I can. Yes, of course, I can explain it. Because if I don't, we're in serious trouble. Not with more of your bluffs and fairy tales, I trust. Fair warning, Justice Dono. I shall have your head if you fail to explain this. Eep! What about a good old-fashioned penalty? Well, Mr. Justice, let's see if you have a head worth keeping on your shoulders. First of all, Mr. LaBelle was definitely in the Fox Chamber while it was locked. We also know that Mayor Tenma was in the Forbidden Chamber based on his testimony. These two facts are crucial to my explanation, so let us consider the following question. If the facts point to Florent LaBelle and the victim being there at the scene of the crime, why did Jinxie Tenma see her father, Mayor Tenma, and the victim? A very good question indeed, and I suppose you have an answer for this. Sadly, you would be supposing wrong.
You think she could have mistaken LaBelle for the mayor?
Well, if she did, then the question is, why did she do that? Well, how about that explanation, Mr. Justice? I believe the time for questions is over. The defense asserts that Florent LaBelle was at the scene of the crime. However, Jinxie Tenma has testified that she saw her father collapse there. If she has, in fact, misremembered the event, what could have made her do so? LaBelle was disguised as Tenma. We will answer that shortly. The figure Miss Tenma saw was not her father. It was Florent LaBelle disguised as Damien Tenma.
Silence.
That is a complete impossibility. Their faces are utterly unalike. How could you explain that away with the mere disguise? Yes, they both do have incredibly distinctive faces. Maybe the disguise completely hid his face?
I think Jinxie could have mentioned if she couldn't see her father's face.
And if it was that sort of disguise, wouldn't she have removed it? Oh, right. Your sword is as dull as your mind, Justice Dono. Shall I show you what a truly sharp blade is capable of? I think I'll pass! Ah!
Are you okay, Apollo?
I'm not fine, am I? Well, now that we have that little fairy tale out of the way, your boldness,
Your verdict, if you will.
Mr. Justice, I believe it's time for a verdict if you have no further arguments. What's even left for me to do?
Apollo! Remember what Mr. Wright always says? When you're stuck in a tight spot, turn the case upside down.
Turn the case upside down? Huh. He does say that, doesn't he? But I don't quite see how it applies here. Still, never hurts to give it a try, I guess. Let's see. Rather than Jinxie didn't remove the disguise, maybe she couldn't remove it. And rather than she didn't tell anyone about the disguise, maybe it was she couldn't talk about it.
A wrestler's mask is more precious than his own life. He'd never unmask himself in front of others. But there are matches where wrestlers battle for the right to remove each other's mask. To have your mask torn off is the worst humiliation a wrestler could suffer. That's why their masks are more important to them than life itself.
And what about the fact that it was the amazing Ninetales that opened the door? A mask that can't be removed in front of others. Can these facts turn things around? We got it all backwards!
Apollo?
I think we might have made a huge mistake. Your boldness, I see no need to further indulge them in their silly little farce. The defense has no proof. They never did and never will. Then it seems I must announce my verdict.
Objection!
I do have proof! Do you now? Alright, but this better be good, Mr. Justice. We can't solve the remaining riddles by turning all our assumptions upside down. Why Jinxie mistook Mr. LaBelle for her father. Why she couldn't remove the costume or tell anyone about it in the first place. These riddles are inextricably linked to Miss Mayor Tenma's secret identity. A shocking secret identity that would turn the entire premise of this case upside down. This piece of evidence clearly reveals Mayor Tenma's secret identity. The Fox Mask. What absolute captrap pocketcock balderdash! Well, we're gonna stop right there while Blackquill is having his moment of cursing everywhere. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Should be the last one, the next one.